Insulin resistance is a common health condition in which your body's cells, primarily in the muscles, fat, and liver, stop responding effectively to the hormone insulin. To understand it, first know that insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas that acts like a key to unlock your cells, allowing glucose, sugar, from your bloodstream to enter and be used for energy. When you have insulin resistance, the cells ignore the key, insulin, and don't open easily. Glucose builds up in the blood. The pancreas works harder, producing more and more insulin, a state called hyperinsulinemia, to force the glucose into the cells. This high insulin level can eventually wear out the pancreas and is a main feature of conditions like prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. Section 1. The whispers of a hidden problem. You finish a large meal, and an hour later an insatiable hunger gnaws at you. You feel a bone-deep tiredness a full night's sleep can't fix. You reach for another coffee. Your weight climbs, especially around your midsection, even without big diet changes. Constant hunger, relentless fatigue, stubborn belly fat. These are often the first whispers of insulin resistance. Section 2. The gatekeeper hormone. Insulin, made in your pancreas, is the key messenger that manages energy flow. Like a key in a lock, insulin opens the cell to let glucose in for energy. After you eat carbs, glucose rises in your blood and signals insulin to respond. Insulin fuels cells and also stores excess, liver and muscles, first, then body fat. When glycogen tanks are full, surplus glucose is converted and stored as fat. In balance, insulin rises after meals and falls back down. Without insulin, glucose remains trapped in blood, the reality in type 1 diabetes. Today's constant sugar and refined carbs force the pancreas to overproduce insulin. Chronically elevated insulin drives dysfunction, turning helper into harm. Insulin isn't the enemy, it's vital. The problem is too much, too often. Control the signal and you restore metabolic balance. Causes and risk factors. The exact cause is not fully understood, but several factors increase the risk. Excess body weight, obesity, especially extra fat stored around the abdomen, belly fat. Sedentary lifestyle, lack of physical activity significantly increases risk. Exercise helps muscles absorb glucose without needing as much insulin. Diet. A diet high in added sugars, refined carbohydrates, and unhealthy fats. Genetics and family history. A family history of type 2 diabetes. Age, risk increases as you get older, over 45. Certain health conditions, polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, metabolic syndrome, a cluster of conditions like high blood pressure, high triglycerides, and low good HDL cholesterol, poor sleep, and chronic stress. Section 3. When the lock changes. In healthy cells, a single insulin key opens the door. With resistance, the locks grow deaf to insulin's message. Like living by a highway, constant noise makes you tune it out. Cells protect themselves by becoming less responsive to excess glucose. The body shouts louder. The pancreas pumps even more insulin. Early on, both glucose and insulin rise, a state called hyperinsulinemia. Extra insulin compensates for a while, masking the underlying resistance. High insulin worsens resistance, which demands even higher insulin. Over years, insulin-producing cells tire and blood sugar climbs. Prediabetes leads to type 2 diabetes, and high insulin locks fat in storage. Section 4. Unmasking the culprits. Refined carbs and sugars. Bread, pasta, rice, cereals, potatoes, sweet drinks, desserts, rapidly turn into glucose. Rapid glucose spikes trigger large insulin releases. Frequent meals and snacks keep insulin elevated all day. Sedentary living reduces muscle glucose uptake, demanding more insulin. Movement, especially building muscle, adds more docks for glucose to land. Chronic stress and poor sleep raise cortisol, which raises blood sugar, and insulin. Combined with a high-carb diet and low movement, it's a perfect metabolic storm. The good news, these drivers are modifiable, and change starts small. Next, the signs to notice, and the tests that confirm what's happening. Common signs include rising weight, central or apple-shaped fat, and an expanding waistline. Intense cravings for sugar and starch even after eating. Cells starved for energy trigger hunger, fatigue, and brain fog. Dark velvety skin patches and clusters of skin tags often signal excess insulin. Testing confirms the picture. fasting glucose and A1C screen for high blood sugar and long-term elevation. A high fasting insulin, even with normal glucose, is an early hallmark. HOMA-IR quantifies resistance. Discuss results with your doctor for a clear plan. Then, use the most powerful lever you control: what you eat. Build meals that lower insulin and restore sensitivity. Movement makes cells more receptive to insulin. Walking, cycling, swimming all help. Build muscle. More muscle means more storage for glucose as glycogen. Even 10 minutes after meals blunts the glucose spike. Aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate activity most days. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours of restorative sleep. Poor sleep raises cortisol and insulin. Set a consistent schedule. Dim screens. Cool and darken your room to support deep sleep. Manage stress daily. Breathing, mindfulness, time in nature, and hobbies lower cortisol. If stress persists, seek support from a professional. Together, diet, movement, sleep, and stress create a powerful synergistic reset. Treatment and management. The great news is that insulin resistance can often be reversed or significantly improved primarily through lifestyle changes. Physical activity. Regular exercise is one of the most effective treatments. It helps muscles use glucose and makes cells more sensitive to insulin. Dietary changes. Focus on a diet rich in whole foods, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats. Limit foods high in added sugars, like sugary drinks, desserts, and processed snacks, and refined carbohydrates. Weight management. Losing even a modest amount of weight, 5% to 7% of your body weight, can significantly improve insulin resistance. Sleep and stress. Prioritizing 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep and actively managing stress can help regulate hormones that affect insulin sensitivity. Medication. Your healthcare provider may prescribe medications, such as metformin, to help improve insulin sensitivity and manage blood glucose levels, especially if you have been diagnosed with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. If you are concerned about insulin resistance, a healthcare professional can run simple blood tests to assess your risk. Would you like to search for ways to improve insulin resistance through diet or exercise? A total overhaul feels overwhelming. Start with 10-minute wins. First, eliminate sugary drinks, a major driver of insulin spikes. Second, after your next meal, walk 10 minutes to flatten the curve. Third, upgrade one meal. Swap starch for veggies, add healthy fats, and adequate protein. Bonus, spend 10 minutes preparing your best sleep tonight. This journey protects long-term health and improves how you feel now. Insulin resistance fuels diabetes, heart disease risks, fatty liver, and more. Imagine steady energy without crashes and cravings. Work with your clinician on tests and a safe plan, especially if on medication. Start with one small change today. Your future self will thank you.